Hey guys, and welcome back to Battlefront updates and some very exciting Star Wars Battlefront 2 news, because they just released a massive community transmission called A Look at What's Coming in 2019, which details August and September and gives us some hints of what we're getting rest of the year, and it contains so much stuff. Instant action, co-op, Felucia, Clone Commandos, Droid skins, Rise of Skywalker stuff, and much more. So this definitely went through my expectations, and I'm very excited to hear what you guys think about this. And it's a really long transmission, so I'm simply just gonna dive straight into it. But I'm simply gonna start from the top and go through the entire thing for you all. So well, let's dive straight into it. In the beginning, they say back in June we mentioned we would be sharing more about the future of Battlefront 2. Time doesn't stand still, and today we have a host of details for you what's coming this month and beyond. So let's dive in. If we then start off with August, the patch that is coming out 8 days from now on next Wednesday. This is what we're getting in that patch/update. First of all, Venator and Dreadnought. We will be getting both the Separatist Dreadnought and Republic Venator as playable maps in Heroes vs Villains. I think this sounds like a good idea. I'm not sure which part of the Dreadnought or Venator that will be available, since obviously the interiors are pretty large. I'd imagine maybe the actual the part where you have to destroy the reactor could be pretty fun, because you're able to push people down there and so on. But definitely sounds like a good addition. I don't see anything bad about that at all. And then we're actually getting some big changes to capital ship interiors in terms of how they play out. So after watching discussions around capital supremacy and in particular the capital ship phase, we've made some changes to the interiors of both capital ships. So the assault on the capital ship will still have two sub-phases, but both of them are evolving. So once you've breached the enemy ship, you have 5 minutes to destroy it before the action returns to the ground. And in order to destroy the ship, you must first capture one of 2 available command posts located on the ship. If you succeed in that, your team will gain an additional 5 minutes and be able to fire on the enemy target. And the damage cost to the enemy target will be persistent, meaning if you fail in destroying the target fully, you can pick up right where you left the next time you attempt to destroy it. And next, they're changing the capital ship phases to be based on a timer. This means that the attacking team will now have a 5-minute window to destroy the generators. Once the time runs out, the battle will return to the planetary phase. And also implementing some new changes to the artwork within the ships themselves. So I found this to be really good. I remember this is something I suggested the first time they released Capital Supremacy, because I really don't like the mechanic where you have to run up to something, hold down a button and try to stand still while you're capturing it. It's a very boring way to capture an objective, so I would much rather have an actual command post and something you shoot at, because I like that in on the crate map at the last phase where you have to shoot on the actual generators. So I think this sounds like a good change. I'm a bit confused though, since they're switching over to timers that is always going to be on 5 minutes. Does that mean that boarding the ship on the ground phase no longer has an effect? Because right now, if you board the ship, you get more reinforcements for the capital ship phase. But right now, it seems like it's always going to be 5 minutes, which means that I'm not really sure if boarding the ships on the ground will have any effect anymore. Not a big deal really, but I wish they would have just clarified that here, as I'm not sure how that works. Overall, it's just a good change, because I hate having to go up to an objective, so actually capturing a command point and actually shooting at something does sound a lot better in my opinion. And next up, we have contextual spawning for capital supremacy. Something that people have obviously requested since the original Battlefront 2 game. So we will now be able to spawn on dynamic tactical assets on the Battlefront, starting with command posts in capital supremacy and instant action, which I will get to later. Once you have been defeated in battle, you will be presented the squad spawn menu as normal. Alongside your squad members, you will now be presented with a list of command posts to spawn onto as well. So basically, it's gonna work like it did in the original games. You will be able to spawn on your own command posts, and you will also be able to spawn on contested command posts as long as it's your own. So you will spawn close to the command post if you have full control over it, but if it's contested, you will spawn a little further away. So it's basically like how it is in Battlefield and the old Battlefront games. And of course, you will not be able to spawn on a command post if it's under the enemy team's control, even if your team is contesting it, or if it's a neutral command post. So it's basically like any game where you can capture and spawn on command posts. So definitely another very welcome addition to capital supremacy. It sounds like it's going to play out pretty differently after the August patch compared to how it's playing out right now. And then moving on, we have something that I didn't really expect, droid appearances. So they've obviously released a lot of clone troopers the last couple of months, but now they don't want the separatists to feel left out, so they're bringing 3 new appearances for the B1 battle droids, which will be available both for the assault, heavy, officer and specialist. The pilot, which is this kind of bluish skin. The jungle, which, well, speaks for itself, might work pretty well on Kashyyyk. And then lastly, the training skin, which was apparently the skin they used on the battle droids on Kamino that the clones practiced against. All 3 will be available for these 4 classes, and they will also make it so that you can pick between the default and Geonosis skin for these different classes as well, but those will be free since the Geonosis skin is obviously already available on Geonosis. So you will have the default skin, the Geonosis skin, and then you can unlock these 3 skins that I just mentioned. So a very welcome addition, something people have been suggesting a lot, but I don't think I've seen them mention separatist skins before, so for me that was just a nice surprise. So that covers all of August, a pretty good update, but the biggest update is definitely coming in September, so I'm simply gonna dive straight into that. So they first off mentioned that although we are roughly a month away from the release, they are targeting a deployment date of September 25th. And the first thing they of course mention is Felucia, which is coming to Battlefront 2 on capital Supremacy. And it is described as follows. The Separatists' invasion of Felucia is nearing its end, with only a single powerful vehicle, I'm assuming the ATTE, left to cover the evacuation of a Felucian farming community. The clones struggle to maintain their last line of defense long enough for Republic transports to collect a large cache of valuable medicinal plants from the village. As the droids advance towards the clones' position, the squad chooses to go on the offense, destroying the dreadnought responsible for the attack. However, the droids have a plan of their own, ensure the Republic can't escape with the plants by bringing down their Venator. Similar to other capital Supremacy maps, Felucia is broken up into multiple areas with a set theme for each command post. Themes range from the traditional Felucian farm, a cave that used to be inhabited by an indigenous Rancor, or the remnants of the mighty Sarlacc. So I do definitely think that sounds like some interesting themes. It's probably gonna be a lot more unique than the Battlefront 2 original Felucia map, which for its time was really beautiful, but it did not have any themes like that. And I'm really glad that they're bringing in like the Felucian farming community. Some of you might have seen the Clone Wars episodes where they are on Felucia helping out some farmers fight back the separatists, where they help out some farmers on Felucia. It's something we don't really see either in the old games or in the movie. Obviously it shows up very little in the movie, but I always like when they bring something in from the Clone Wars or animated series overall into the game. So yeah, so maybe we will even see some Felucians, if that's what they're called, in the background. And next up we have co-op, one of the 2 new modes coming out in September. So in September, 4-player online co-op is coming to Battlefront. For this experience you will team up with 3 other players, old friends or new. So hopefully that means you can just queue up with randoms for a large-scale PvE adventure. You can choose to play as either the Galactic Republic or the Separatist Alliance and partake in massive battles on all 5 Clone Wars planets in Battlefront 2. Depending on which faction you've selected, the experience on each planet will be different. For example, the droid army will be invading the planet of Naboo while defending if the battle moves to Geonosis, and then the other way around if you play in the clone army. And what I find to be the most interesting in this is that in co-op and also in instant action, all troopers, reinforcements, vehicles, heroes and villains will be able to play, and that is also true for the AI. So the AI system in Capital Supremacy have now been expanded to include vehicles, heroes and villains. So that's actually something that intrigues me. You know, I'm mostly for multiplayer, I will definitely try this out, but the fact that I can battle enemy hero AI is something that actually intrigues me, because that could give me a proper challenge if I'm playing as a normal trooper and trying to kill a AI Grievous, for instance. So the key info is that it's a PvE experience. Players take on both an attacking and defending role. AI play as attackers or defenders, including reinforcements, vehicles and heroes. Or you can play as troopers, reinforcements, vehicles and heroes, and it's available on all Clone Wars era planets. And they will be inviting some of your favorite YouTube creators to try out co-op directly from Gamescom, so be sure to keep an eye on their channels. I'm not currently at Gamescom, but I will most likely have some footage for you anyways, thanks to some of the people attending, so look out for that. And the next new mode coming is Instant Action, which finally makes a return to the Battlefront franchise. And they first mentioned that, well, people have been talking about a large-scale PvE/single-player mode for a very long time, and it's finally arriving. So in this mode, you will be fighting over 5 command posts, similar to Capital Supremacy, but it seems like you will only be on the ground phase, so it's basically Conquest. They could pretty much call it Conquest because that's what it is. It's just like the Conquest of the original Battlefront 2 game. And you will hold them until your score reaches 100% to win the game. And the key info is that it's a single player, large-scale combat experience, fight to control command post, you fight alongside AI, you fight against a team of AI. The enemy team will be made up of troopers, reinforcements, heroes, and vehicles. You can spawn on command posts, and you need to control the majority of the command posts until you win. And you can play as light or dark side, and it can also be played offline without the need for an internet connection. And it will be available on all the 5 Clone Wars maps initially that are currently available in Capital Supremacy. So that sounds like a pretty good mode to me. Obviously, it's not every map, it's not every mode, but I think the main thing here really is to kind of scratch that itch for the people who just don't want to play against real players. And that's something you can now do, and you can do it in what I would argue the best part, which is Conquest. And most importantly, you can fight off against heroes and reinforcements and vehicles. That's definitely the main thing missing in arcade, and that makes arcade really dull. This will give you the large scale experience. It will give you a chance to fight heroes, and honestly I didn't think I would be excited for any of these single player stuff because I just play multiplayer, but I do really want to crank up the difficulty and try to play like a specialist or something against the heroes. I am really curious how good the hero AI is going to be. Are they just going to be kind of randomly using abilities, or will they be able to block properly, combo the abilities? I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see though, because that's a big step from just having regular troopers in there. And next up for some multiplayer stuff, Clone Commandos, which have been, I guess, teased/found in the files as for a very long time. They're finally coming. The most elite forces within the Grand Army of the Republic, the Clone Commandos, would come to be respected by allies and feared by enemies. And they will also be able to switch from blaster to grenade to provide the Clone Commando with a great deal of versatility, allowing him to adapt to the situation ahead of him. And they also give us the full details here on their actual abilities. First of all, saying for added cool factor, you'll see the commando making the change from primary fire to grenade himself. In addition, we've added all the necessary animations to ensure we stay as close to the source material as possible. So the primary weapon is a DC-17M. That's the one I think was found in the files that made people think the Clone Commando was coming eventually. And then the left ability, Anti-Armor Attachment, figures the DC-17M into a grenade launcher that fires up to 3 small grenades with high efficiency against vehicles and shields. I really like that. Something against ATSTs, although I just realized that obviously the Clone Commandos will not fight ATSTs, but still, something against vehicles is something that makes me happy. And it seems like it's not just going to be something used to kill enemies, but it's a more situational thing. And then the second thing is Repulsor Blast, which discharges a short-range shockwave that temporarily disorients enemies and knocks them back. So I'm guessing a little bit of a combo of maybe a flashbang and the repulsor cannon, and I'm assuming the repulsor hit will actually be a little bit bigger than on the repulsor cannon. And then lastly, middle ability is Battle Focus, which activates a damage protection aura for the commando and nearby allies. Additionally, any damage to the commando deals to enemies replenishes his base health. Sounds like a very Clone Commando-ish ability to have, and I'm assuming the Clone Commando is going to be pretty tanky and being able to stay alive for a long time with a healing ability like that. And lastly, in September, we have an appearance challenge. During September, we'll be releasing a community challenge that grants you the ability to unlock a highly requested appearance. More details will follow closer to the challenge, but we have a sneaking suspicion that fans of Luke Skywalker and Star Wars A New Hope will enjoy this one. So I'm assuming it might be Farm Boy Luke, but there are a couple of different skins that could be from A New Hope, but that's at least my guess. And they will be back in September with a number of transmissions dedicated to co-op, instant action, the Republic Commando, and the full release notes. So that's August and September. What about later in the year? And I'm so glad they're actually detailing this, because otherwise it might have felt like they would end after September, but obviously they're not. So as they move through the remainder of the year, they will have new reinforcements, appearances, a brand new front menu system which allows you to play the era of your choosing. All changes that people have really requested, and I'm excited to see what kind of reinforcements we're talking about. Maybe some Magna Guards or something like that. And they will also be working toward the release of content inspired by Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, so that is now confirmed. While they don't want to go into exact specifics, we can confirm that we will be building a new planet and some new reinforcements based on the conclusion to the galaxy-spanning Skywalker saga. We'll be back with more details on each of the above as we get closer to the release. The next few months are an exciting time for the game, and we're incredibly grateful that you've chosen to come on this journey with us. We can't wait to experience more of Star Wars Battlefront 2 with you. So that is indeed a massive community transmission, and I gotta say I'm really happy. I mean, obviously there's a lot of stuff people are requesting, but I think this is definitely more than I expected. Getting 2 new modes in September around single player, which I know will not be for all of us. A lot of us prefer multiplayer, but it is a big thing missing from the game, a way to play kind of offline for kids or for people who just don't want to play against real players. So I'm glad they're adding it for the sake of the game, although me personally might not be the person to play it the most. Except I want to try to fight that AI heroes, that's for sure. And as for the multiplayer, obviously Felucia. Those capital supremacy changes sound really good. Some skins, Republic Commando, and obviously what we're getting, another planet later in the year as well for Rise of Skywalker. It just sounds like Battlefront 2 is definitely here to stay, and based on how much effort they're putting into this, I don't even think it will end after Rise of Skywalker. I hope I'm right. It would be really nice to see this game basically go into year 3 of post-launch support, as that would be really good. And I don't see, if the game is doing as well as it's doing now, why they would end after Rise of Skywalker. Plus, I would imagine that after Rise of Skywalker, and they might be pushing the content that they're creating, that will probably get even more new players into the game. So overall, just an exciting time to be a Battlefront fan, although there's been a bit of a break now during the summer. It sounds like it's gonna start rolling out some proper content now, and yeah, I'm excited to hear what you guys think about the content. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.